Hey winners, we are so excited about what God is doing at Christ Place Church. Remember, we're all about discipling one another to reach and raise the next generation to live out God's truth. That's our mission. That's what we're all about. Now listen, the fall is just around the corner. We've had an amazing summer. We've had families join the church. God's doing great things. But the fall's going to be, I believe, our best fall ever.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple things that are happening. August the 12th is Promotion Sunday. You know that's a big day. But then hopefully about a month after that, sometime in September, we're hoping, we're going to be moving into a brand new worship facility. That is such an exciting time in the life of our church. Now, the crazy thing is that we're not as excited about moving into the worship facility as we are about what God's called us to do as a church in mission, vision, and values, how He's called us to make disciples. And so I just want to take a minute, Andrew and I did, to just walk you through some changes that are coming because of moving into this new facility and helping us lead our people in a great way that prepare them for these changes. So just real quickly, we've shown you this before, but let's just look at this real quick again. Let's pretend this is a church and this is the lower room and this is the upper room. Now we want people to be in the upper room, but most of the time churches kind of live in the lower room. And what I mean by that is churches and people in the churches are very, very driven by the people, the relationships they have, the place, the actual physical location, the personality, whether it be Pastor Jeff or Pastor Rob or some great personality at the church, and the programs. They love the programs that happen. All these things are good things. They're all tools, but they're not the upper room. The upper room is our mission, our vision, and our values, and those things that God has called us to, that these things are tools to get us here. And so when our people are struggling, we really need to help them get to the upper room of mission and vision and values. And so doing that, there's been a quote that we as a staff have really been just kind of wrestling with, that Pastor said in a few messages, that really helps us when we're encountering seasons of change, and we want to help you coach your people through this. So here's the quote. It says, many times people don't fear change, they fear loss. Many times people don't fear change, they fear loss. What are they losing because of this change? And so, Andrew, why don't you walk us through, when we move into that new building, what are some things that maybe people might feel like they're losing, and how do we help them as leaders to navigate that?
Well, you know, even if when we move into this new location, into the new building, they're going to feel, things are going to just feel different. So some of the things, one of the biggest things is they're going to lose their seat. Maybe you have your specific spot that you sit in every single Sunday. I know I do. I know Rick does as well. But that's a legitimate concern and a legitimate loss that they're feeling, like, I'm going to lose my seat, and it's going to be a different vantage point. Things are going to look different. It's just going to be a different feel. Another thing is they're going to lose their parking spot. Maybe you have your schedule, and you know, if I get up at this time every single Sunday morning, and as long as we're out the door and we're on the way, and as long as nobody drives slow in front of us, then we're going to make it to church on time, and we're going to park in the same spot or in the same area, and we know exactly where to drop the kids off or how to get into service just in time. And if you're anything like me and my family, that's exactly what happens. But you know what? Parking's going to be a little bit different as well. Their schedule's going to maybe be a little bit different. If your small group is moving from the 9:30 hour maybe to the 8 o'clock, or if you're moving to the 11, depending on what is going on, they're going to feel like they're losing their schedule. Once again, they know right where to park, they know right when to get there, and everything is always that time, so
There's
know
no more 8 o'clock worship.
Exactly. It's just a completely different feel. Maybe they're losing the atmosphere. You know, even if we walk into this new sanctuary, and if everything is the exact same, it's going to be new sound, it's going to be new screens, so it's going to look and it's going to feel different. The atmosphere is just going to be completely different. And if your group is maybe changing hours, maybe they feel like they're losing their group. So the one thing that we want to make sure and do is we want to empathize with every single one of these concerns. You know, when you write them down, you look at them, you think, oh, that's not that big of a deal, but it's a legitimate concern that people have because they're losing those things, or they feel like they're losing those things. So the biggest thing we want to do is we want to take them, and we always want to point them back to the mission. Why are we losing our seat? Why are we losing maybe our parking spot? Why is the schedule changing? Well, because we believe in the priority of reaching people.
That's right.
And we are using this building not because we want to feel better about ourselves because we built a brand new building. but because we want to use it as a tool for God's kingdom so we can reach new people, so we can reach new lost people, and so that we can point them back to God. So that is the biggest thing we want to do. So we want to empathize, and we always want to point them back to the greater mission, the greater vision that God has blessed us with, because He has put that on us. It's not anything that we're doing, it's everything that God is doing through us.
That's right. Such a good word, Andrew. And I know that as leaders, you're going to have people in your Bible fellowship group. I know I've had people every week that come up to me and, hey, I really hate that we changed this, or why don't we do this anymore? And this helps me out so much to always say, what are we about? We're about discipling one another to reach and raise the next generation to live out God's truth and pointing people to the greater mission that God's called us all to. Like Andrew said, the building is going to be a great tool, but we didn't build the building so we can say, hey, look at this great screen, or look at how big this place is. We built the building to reach people because we believe people are valuable to Jesus. And so as we move forward, you are a leader. You set the thermostat of the church when it comes to attitude, when it comes to moving forward, and we're expecting hundreds, even thousands of new people to come into Christ Place Church and come into your group really soon. And so we want you to be the kind of leader that is leading from the upper room. We're about mission, vision, values, and we say this a lot on our staff here. We say that the mission is more important than the man. Yeah. And then any of us, the mission that God's called us to, we're unified together in this great cause to reach people for Jesus. So we love you. We are so thankful for what you do every week. And I'm speaking for me and Andrew. We can't wait to see you Sunday.
Can't wait to see you.